Hello and welcome. Today we're going to become measurement detectives. We're going to learn how to measure shapes in two really cool and different ways, uncovering the secrets of something called area and perimeter. So let's get our investigations started.
Just look around you for a second. Think about the cover of a book, or maybe the top of your desk. They're shapes, right? But how would you actually measure one? Well, guess what? There's not just one way to do it. There are two, and we're going to start by measuring the outside. So, our first big idea is called perimeter. To get this, I want you to imagine you're a teeny tiny ant, and you're going to walk all the way around the very edge of a shape. The total distance you walk, that, my friends, is the perimeter. Okay, so here's the official sounding definition. Perimeter is the length of the boundary of a 2D shape. Now, that word boundary might sound a little fancy, but really it's just the outside edge. Think about it like a fence going all the way around a yard. The perimeter is just the total length of that entire fence.
All right, let's look at our first shape. It's a rectangle. See how one side, the length, is 6 inches long, and the other side, the width, is 8 inches long? To find the perimeter, all we have to do is figure out the total distance all the way around.
Now, we could just add up all the sides, right? We could go 6 plus 8 plus another 6 plus another 8. But you know what? Mathematicians love finding shortcuts, and this formula is our special shortcut. It says P, for perimeter, of course, equals 2 times the length plus the width. So I multiply by 2. Well, because a rectangle has 2 sides that are the same length and 2 sides that are the same width. See? Easy. Let's see exactly how this formula works. So first, we pop our numbers right in. P equals 2 times, and then inside these things called parentheses, we put 6 plus 8. Now the parentheses are like a sign that says, do this part first. So it's 6 plus 8, it's 14. Now our problem is much simpler. P equals 2 times 14. And what's 2 times 14? You got it, it's 28. So the perimeter is 28 inches. Fantastic. Okay, so we've walked all the way around the outside, but what about all the space inside the shape? Well, that's our next big idea, and it's called area. So the area is basically how much space a flat shape covers up. Imagine you're putting square tiles all over a floor. If you wanted to know exactly how many tiles you need to cover the whole thing, you'd be finding the area. Let's check out a new rectangle to practice finding the area. This one's a bit bigger. Its length is 8 meters, and its width is 9 meters. And you'll notice the unit changed. We're not using inches anymore, we're using meters, which we just write with a little m. And guess what? Area has its own formula, and it's super simple. A for area equals length times width. That's it. We just multiply the two sides together. So remember the big difference. For perimeter, we add. For area, we multiply. All right, let's solve it. We take our length, 8 meters, and we multiply it by our width, 9 meters. So what is 8 times 9? It's 72. But hold on, look really close at the answer. It's not just 72 meters. It's 72 meters with a tiny little 2 floating at the top. That little 2 means squared. It's our special clue that we're talking about area, because we're counting how many little squares could fit inside the shape. You guys have done some fantastic work. You've just added 2 brand new, really powerful tools for measuring the world to your math toolkit. So let's quickly review them so they stick in our brains forever. Okay, let's look at them side by side one more time. Remember, perimeter is the distance around the outside, kind of like a frame on a picture. Area is the space inside the shape, like the picture itself. Outside versus inside. That's the main thing to remember. And hey, look at all these new math words we can add to our toolkit. We learned about length and width, the sides of our rectangle. We learned that the boundary is just another word for that outside edge we walk for the perimeter. And we learned that for area, we measure in square units because we're counting all those little squares inside. You're building an awesome math vocabulary. So now that you're armed with these amazing new measuring powers, I've got a challenge for you. Just look around. What shapes do you see that you could measure right now? A door? A window? The screen you're watching this on? You can now measure the world in whole new ways. So, what are you going to measure first?